Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Strongest Wizard, and today I have something special for you guys. I have Ethan here. He just placed 12th in the last Ultimate Cup, and I'm really excited to do a deck profile. It seems pretty incredible. I had no idea this deck could top, so let's go ahead and dive in and see what he did. Yeah, so go ahead and show us the deck here, but more importantly, so you're part of Psycho Turtle, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm part of the team, and I've been really good people there.
Nice. Yeah, I do. When I heard about your run, I was like, yo, I have to get this guy on camera. I need to see this deck profile.
Alright. Yeah, so I guess to start off with the eggs. So for eggs, I run for the yellow Upamon. Really, I was originally running Vixamon, and it just wasn't working out. So I kind of just wanted to run this because I see myself drawing more with this than Vixamon. You never really get down to your 5th egg, so like it's not really a problem. But yeah, so pretty standard yellow Digi eggs, and then the only rookies I run are full recovery Salamon. So you only push out when you have 3 or less. It really comes in handy, came to help a lot. And then you get a nice swing in, maybe even 2 if it survives. So really saw a lot of value with this. It did hurt when it would be in security, but I mean, other than that, really, it's such a nice card. Wouldn't cut it at all. And then straight to the 5s, I run 2 of the purple Angelomon. This helped. Maybe I could cut down the 1, but I never really saw myself using Inheritable, maybe like 1 time at all my matches. And then the on play did help sometimes against Melga, and like that's really it. But I mean, I'd probably cut it down to 1, maybe put in something else. And then the most standard card in the deck, self-explanatory, is the 4 Magnanimon. Have to run 4. Literally the best card in the deck. Carries the whole deck by itself. I mean, it's just such good recovery. Yeah, it's one of the best cards in the deck. And then Avenge Kid. So I really don't know about this card because it would be in security sometimes and it would hurt, but it would help with the options. I never really saw myself get decked out though, or close to decked out. So I mean, it's not the best card ever, but it just helps with like it's a nice kill spell. So I mean, it helps, but it just kind of hurts when you put more cards in your opponent's deck. And then more Tekken. So 2 Tekken level 6s are 1 Seraphimon and 1 Ophanimon. So they both have Digimon effects for recovery 1, which is really nice. And then Seraphimon is on deletion recovery 1. So this was really just like to kind of scare my opponent, just have it suspended. So like only would only bounce it or something unless they kill it. This would be a good target for Death X though. So I mean, sometimes I would just like have it there, and then it would die from Death X and free recovery. And then Ophanimon. So this is where the Angelomon comes in. You have it on top. You swing for 2 checks. But I mean, it's like it's just more recovery. You know, you could cut it for us, or you could cut it for like another Seraphimon if you really want to. Yeah. So then this is one of the level 6s. This is the best card, one of the best cards in the deck because it works so well against Melga. This literally counters like everything Melga tries to do, and they have to play, so they kind of have to switch their game and play around it, and that ends up making them be less aggressive with their checks. So, and then D Brigade, this helps just when Digivolving -1 check the entire board. D Brigade usually can't get more than 1 check off, so that just stops their entire turn. And then being able to prevent when Digivolving when attacking effects is such a great effect.
It's funny because
stops your opponent.
It's funny because that card is the reason why I kind of teared away from playing Melga, because that card is such a good counter. It is so sad how much it destroys Melga.
Literally, I think I use this in both of my Melga matchups, and it just works so well. I mean, like, because so if they have Work or Rue Wonder and you go into like metal, and they go into the metal on top and they have 8 or more cards, it prevents the when Digivolving because they have the security modifier on when Digivolving. So it just stops everything.
Yeah.
And then next up, I run 3 Death X. Really, I thought this would be bad, but it worked actually well. Having 3, because sometimes you don't see them. It really helps. And then you can go on top of Ofani. So that's why I was running Ofani, because you can go on top with it. I don't think I ever did that. I think I did like once. But I mean, it's just thought it was gonna be clunky. So, but I mean, 3 worked out nice. D Brigade, literally the best card ever.
Wow. Yeah, I honestly thought that we're gonna see less of that card this tournament. You know, this format, just see less of it, less of it. But wow.
And I actually, in my D Brigade matchup, I played this for like 14, and that was the fame of the game. Yeah, so like sometimes you have to make those sacrifices, but it comes in handy. But yeah, so that's it for Digimon. So I'll start off with my yellow tamers. So we're on 1 TK. TK did help. I wanted to run one more, but I was scared that if it was in my security and like the last card's a purple or something, that it would leave me with nothing. So I was kind of just scared about how I would see it how often I would see it. But it did help, and like starting off, it was really help because I was just go into Salamon and then play a TK and then see once in my security early on. And then Tukari, this did help in a lot of my matchups, but not every single one. I never really felt like I needed it. Like I never really went like, oh, if only I had a Kari or something. But these are just your memory tamers. You really just need memory tamers in general. But if you want, you can cut one for a TK. Not the worst thing you could ever do. And then, so this is the green package. This is where it comes in handy. It's 3 TK and Izzy. This card is one of the best memory gainers in the entire deck. It's probably the best. So on the start of your main phase, if you have a level 5 or higher, in play, gain 1 memory. And if your opponent has a level 5 or higher, gain 1 memory. This helped so much. Every turn I'd be at least 5. And it would just help so much because almost all your Digimon are level 5 or higher, so you're going to be gaining a lot of memory. You're going to be gaining memory like every turn as long as you have a Digimon in play. So this really helped with memory gain. I wasn't expecting it to do as much as it did, but your turn effect is not like, I never saw myself use it. Literally, I never use it. But I mean, -1000 could come in handy in some cases, but yeah. So that's the green package.
See, now this is kind of crazy. This is kind of crazy. Real quick, I want to say, as a previous SecCom player, I used to love security control. I used to play it during lore night times, and I never thought the green package would be the ideal package to add in your SecCon deck right now. Like that's what really like hit me. That's what I was like. You know what? I really want to record this. You know, this deck profile because the green package. I'm just dying to see what else is in here.
For purple tamers, I run 2 Kari. So I thought that this card would be more devalued because most of these decks kind of go slow, or not slow, but they take their time and like they don't go super far aggressive. And then so like gaining 1 memory, it sometimes it helps, but if you're going up against Melga, they can just play us like they can just gain 1 memory and then they play a Spark and they gain it right back. So I mean, yeah, it's 1 less memory that they have. But I never really saw myself. I mean, I only used it for passing turn. So that's where it came in handy, was passing turn. But other than that, really, it's like, And then you can also use it with TK, so it helps. For Mimi, I love this card. I actually one game had all 4, and I was just memory controlling so hard. And then there's a couple of options that you are able to just gain more value off this. So I'll explain that in a bit. But that's it for my tamers. Really nice setup for me. So now I'm gonna use my one. I'm gonna check my one. So my Tekkens were 1 Blade of the Troop. I didn't want to run 2 because I was originally running 2 like a while back when I was playing SecCon, and sometimes I would see it too much, or it would be in security at like a last check, so it didn't even help. So I ran 1. Run with 1 was perfect because sometimes you would get 1 draw, 2 draws. I think I only got 3 draws like 1 time. But this deck already has nice consistency, and this just adds more to it. I would add more though, just because sometimes they can deck you out or something. And then 1 reinforcing memory boost. You have to run the one like if you see it, you have to play it. A lot of the times actually it was in my security. Surprisingly, I wasn't expecting to be in the security as much. But the gain 3 memory is nice. I usually use this when I was playing Death Deck. if that test was pretty expensive, I would just pop this and then play the death decks, and they would be at not as much memory. So that's why it really helps with the death decks play. And then I run two purple options, one calling from darkness. Honestly, I never even really used this. I think I used it like once to pop my like Salamon or something. So really, it's not the best card in the deck, but I mean, it's nice because you can get it back to your death decks. And then, so yeah, it's okay, not the best. And then this card, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but it's the best. It works so well against Melga. I think 2 matches against Melga, they hit into this, and I just popped their Wergaruru. And I was like, okay. And it just stopped their entire turn. And then I think against D-Brigade, I think I had like 3 Tamers out, so I just played this, and it popped out like 3 other bodies. I was like, oh my god. So I was like, that card really helped. Maybe I'll try to fit in one more, just because it sees more value with less, like with not a lot of high-ends. And then 3 Holy Wave. I would probably put this at a 4. I thought that 3 would be nice, but I really wish that like I had that one more, because I think one game I played like all three in a row, and like really it was just recovery on top of recovery. So it helps a lot. And then when you see insecurity, it's so nice just having that extra one, because they can really clutch you in a game sometimes. So yeah, I think that maybe I'll try to fit in one more. But I mean, 3's still nice. Wouldn't cut it down to 2 at all. Then for the 4s, you have to run 4 Flame Hell Scythe. So this is where the Angelmon kind of comes into play, because you play this and then -2 checks one of your other opponent's bodies. Although I didn't see myself popping too much with it, because I mean, most of the time they had their like high ends already. So I mean, really, I never went into it with killing bodies, with the intention of killing bodies. D-Brigade, though, it did help, because I think they hit into like 2 of them in security. So I was just able to pop 2 of their bodies. And then for Chaos Degrade, this card came in clutch against Melgas. Like they would have their Melga out, and I would just play Chaos Degrade, just move it away. So really, really helped a lot. I think I saw it in security a couple of times, but most of the time it was in my hand, so that's where it gets a little bricky. But I mean, overall, it's still a really nice card. And then with the Mimis, you're able to play it for such little. So really, really just able to be a cheap kill spell. And then the last option card, last card of the deck, for Grandest Soul. This is where the green cap package comes into play. This card helped out so much against essentially, I think, everything, really. It did hurt, though, with the bottom deck. Having them the bottom deck if they would already be at little. So I mean, sometimes it hurts, but I mean, most of the time you really, really love seeing this in security. Just another kill spell. So I think we run this is essentially like another Chaos Brigade, just to bounce their bodies back. Would I run blue? Maybe. I mean, because blue has some more bounce spells too, but I mean, this just bounces the bottom deck, so it's really nice. And then you don't want any green Digimon, but it's just another kill spell. And yeah, so that's the deck.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, I mean, having the 4 options with the green package, you know, was there any time during the tournament where you thought to yourself, maybe I should have allocated these 8 cards for more purple or more yellow removal? Like, what made you just wanting?
So that's where it kind of came in. So for the 4 Grandest Soul, I would probably cut it down, because having to rely on your Tamers, because that's how I lost my first round. My first round, I didn't see my Tamers, and I lost because I had 2 of these in hand, and I couldn't do anything. So sometimes it becomes really bricky if you don't see these. So that's my standard for like a starting hand would be a Salamon and one of these. That's like the bare minimum for a hand that I would really want, because that's like your main pieces that you want to find early on. So I would probably cut down Grandest Soul to 1, maybe add in the new BT10 option.
Yeah.
The yellow one.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would cut it for, just so you still have that kill spell and it just does something else. And then you do see yourself getting to 3 or less pretty often in this format. But so yeah, I might probably cut one Grandest Soul.
Okay.
But I mean, I still saw I still saw it a lot, and it really helped because in security sometimes you would hit it to twice or even like 3 times, and so it would really just stop your opponents, like everything they try to do.
Yeah. So if we could go over your matchups now, I'm really curious to see. I know you said you played against maybe 2 Melgas, but yeah.
So first round, I went up against Blue Green Imperial, with the XVmon, and then they would go into the Stinkmon, Pelsmon jamming and stuff like that. So that really hurt because it was aggressive and it had some armor in it, and armor does hurt sometimes. But I mean, it was just really aggressive and fast. And then I had built this list hours before the event started, so I had no practice with it at all. Okay. So I was still trying to figure out what I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I was like, it was just kind of through me. I wasn't expecting it too. So I mean, yeah, I was just it really the jamming hurt because I would see my Digimon in there sometimes. And then when a kill spell would be in there, they would already have like enough boards set up. The Davis and Kens, they would just gain like 2 memory every time. I was like, yeah. So they just really went, really fast, aggressive, and I just really couldn't do much about that. Second matchup was Dark Knight. So Dark Knight, first game I won by deck out. They really just went through the deck fast. And then second match, I think, I just went really aggressive. I just had like Venusmon on board. I was controlling with Venusmon so that they could just get -1 checks, so they couldn't really do much. And then I was able to just swing. I had like Death Decks on board and stuff like that. So I just went really aggressive. Third round, I think I went up against Gaiomon. Gaiomon, that was a scary, really, really scary matchup. Because first round, they went into the BT1 Wargreymon, and they had like a tie, Melga, or Metal Guru X Antibody, or not Metal Guru, what am I doing? Metal Greymon. So they had like 4 checks, and they just swing, and then there was like 4 checks gone. And luckily though, I think they only hit into like 1 option card, which was like a Grandest Soul, but it still hurt though. It really, that's the ADP in general, or cards like ADP, that prevented security effects is really, really, it really hurts this deck.
Yeah.
A lot. And so that's why sometimes it's really, really bad. And the trash to security is bad too.
It's just the bane of existence for SecCon.
Yeah, that's what, there's counters to SecCon. There's definitely counters to SecCon. Luckily I didn't counter them besides that BC1 Wargreymon. But so the Gaiomon not that bad of a matchup, and the second match he just bricked really hard. Played like 3 level 4s in a row. I was like, oof. I just kept popping them. So it's like, it was Gaiomon wasn't that bad. And then the next matchup, hold on, let me see real quick, because I know. It was
a long day. It was a long day yesterday.
Yeah, it was like 8. I think it was 8 rounds.
Yeah. So 8 rounds playing SecCon, man, that'll do a number on you.
I did. I think I got it to time like 1 time, but it was like, okay. So right here. So no. Okay. So yeah. So the next round was Armor and Jesmon, or Armor with the Jesmon. That one really wasn't bad because I was able to control with Venusmon, so they couldn't get their extra pinches in. It did hurt with the so Venusmon was actually able to prevent the Jesmon from going into like the Blitz and stuff. So that was actually like the #1 clutch. Was the fact that they couldn't just go for the Jesmon and swing. And then every time they would go into the Jesmon and I didn't have Venus, it would swing and it would hit into like a kill spell in like 2 checks. So that's literally what gave the clutch for me, was the kill spells. Then the round after that was the Blue-Green Grandest. That one really wasn't that bad. I just had to kind of just play security more. I just had to really just push my security. Because I felt that the more security I can add, the more value I could gain out of security would really just hurt more Grandest more. And it did help a lot. Really just being able to stop him was one of my clutches. And then next round after that I went into Melga. So Melga really wasn't that bad. Just swinging a lot, but yeah, they were aggressive, but it really wasn't like the worst thing ever. The kill spells would just kind of kill Melga. So then I think I just memory controlled a lot. Or memory control. I would just be able to like, they would have a memory tamer out, so I would just be able to like play like a Mimi for 2, and then they would leave me like 1. So sometimes you could just really put Melga into like a corner. And then D-Brigade was one of the more easier matchups. Just being able, just having Death X. You just like Death X against D-Brigade, you essentially win the game.
Yeah, I think before Death X, I feel like it'd be kind of a disadvantage for SecCon, just because they're able to continuously just add bodies, and go wide, and there really, other than like Ultimate Flare, there really wasn't that many options that you had to get rid of them.
My final round was Melga. So first round, I was just able to just really recovery control, keep popping their bodies out. It really just keep going, just control the board. And with the Venus and stuff. So Venus really just helped. I was able to just stop it. Second round, I legit should have lost. I bricked kind of bad. I was able to do something.
All right.
But I was being kind of aggressive. I think I had like 2 checks in already. But then they had like 1, and I forgot what it was, but I think I already knew it was like some Digimon. It was just like a normal Digimon. So I was like, dang, I lost. But I was like, I might as well just go. He had like 1 card. He had 1 card in deck, and so I just promoted with my Salamon because I was gonna try to have it kill so I could recovery. So I swung, and then he hit it to a Davis, and it just took his card, his last card.
Wow.
And that's how I won.
That's insane.
His Davis took his last card, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just pass turn.
Now, how's the Omni X in that matchup? I know, like, obviously Melga and Red War Gray, they got the Omni X. How does that do against that matchup? Seeing your security and trashing something.
So I did. It did happen to me once. They, out of like all my matches, they did do it to me once, and it does hurt because I think one time it was like all Digimon except one. There was one Flame Pulse side, so they just trashed the Flame Pulse side. So sometimes it does hurt, but I mean it's kind of an advantage to you, I guess, because you can like see. But it just like sometimes it does hurt bad, really. It does hurt really bad though.
I think the knowledge,
because they could just trash your best card.
Right, and the knowledge of like your opponent has of your security, I'd imagine like really benefits them, because now like that's the biggest thing about SecCon is that like as a player playing against SecCon, you have to understand when you should be aggressive, when you shouldn't. Oftentimes people like immediately try to rush it, and that sometimes works and sometimes it's really bad. But knowing your security and being like, oh well, I'll just hit a couple tamers, I can just swing for game here. You know what I mean? Like I think that's pretty big. But seeing that you overcame it didn't really matter. So.
Yeah, one thing that does hurt though is pinching, because if they have one body out, they could just pinch it, and then like so. One time I had a reinforcing, and it was I think like a Chaos Brigade and a Grandisol. I put the Grandisol there, and then they had like one body, they just swung, and then it just hit it. So one thing is that having one body out and just pinching with it really hurts because my kill spells only have one target, so it gains less value. It gains less value out of security if there's only one body there. Melga though, you always see value out of it because there's always a ability to swing. But yeah, that's why. So pinching just into like a big spell that could do so much more. Yeah. And only be able to target that one little card, it's like it kind of hurts. But I mean, you always have more kill spells.
Well, all right, Ethan. Thank you so much for this deck profile. You want to give any last shout outs?
Shout out Sack the Turtle. And then shout out to the team. Gio actually helped me build this list. He gave me the concept for it, so I just kind of worked around that. So super huge thanks to him. And then I guess shout out to my YouTube channel, Heart Collector.
All right, man. Thank you so much for chatting with us today, and have a good one.
You too. Thank you.